Ooh, sing it now.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Word of a Rebel, and this is what will probably be the last episode of the Underestimators conversation. Once again, as I said in episode 1 and 2, haters are definitely not as dangerous to your vision and your accomplishments as underestimators are. Simply because a hater is easy to identify. You already know where they're coming from. You already can recognize that they have no good intentions for the things that they are saying and doing in your life. So it's easy to dismiss a hater. But it is not as easy to dismiss an underestimator. And the reason is because you have to be careful about deciding who is a helpful critic and who's just being an underestimator. So how do you identify that? Well, in the first 2 episodes, I gave you personal stories to kind of show you what it could look like. So I want to give you some examples of positive people giving you advice and then compare that with some negative people trying to offer their advice. So a positive person is going to, number one, try to get educated on your situation, try to get educated on your goal and your vision prior to offering advice. But even if they don't check to get the information, the way that they present their advice to you is with a respectful tone, believing that you can achieve it by saying something like, well, you know, if you arrange your products in this particular manner, sometimes it can get more attention. Or saying something like, well, you know, an Instagram page is a really great thing that you can do to kind of boost and promote your website and your business. See, these types of things, neither one of them was stated in a negative way, you know. Also, one of the closest people to me in my life often gives me advice on business and marketing because it's something that he's really, really good at. And so when he comes at me with the information, I automatically recognize this is someone who has that knowledge. And so this is someone who's credible, you know. But just because maybe you don't know the person, you know, that's offering you the advice, don't make the assumption that they don't know. If they're giving you the advice, at least be open to hear it, to receive it, and kind of consider the validity of it if you're not really familiar with that person. But if you know that person has that kind of experience, that kind of background, you might want to pay attention and hear them out, because even if it's something you already know, it's good to have reminders. But also, even if they give you something you already know, they might add on to it and give you additional information. For example, me and the person I just mentioned both utilize similar platforms for our websites. Now, something that he's done is he has used different apps and features on that site that I've never used before. So when we're talking and I say, you know, I have a particular goal that I'm trying to accomplish with my site, if he already knows of the app that I need, he'll go ahead and tell me, oh, well, you need to use such and such, and this is how you can find it. So I'm definitely going to take that advice because that is good, positive criticism, right? Now, an underestimator, on the other hand, is going to do something very different. They're going to be more likely just to simply criticize, just to simply say things like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You see, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and take a step back and like reduce, you know, your inventory, or instead of doing that particular type of product or service, you need to try to do something else because I don't know what you're thinking. See, those are underestimator type of situations, and that's where it's more blatant. And they think that they're giving you advice because they think that they know better than you what your vision is. But they're not offering anything that's going to boost or support your vision. They're actually just kind of like chipping away at it. And that's how you can identify the underestimators that you need to dismiss, and separating those from those critics and those supporters who give you advice. You're looking for advisors on your team. That's what you need. And you need to trust those advisors. You need to respect those advisors. And who knows, you're probably someone's advisor right now and you don't even know it. Just a matter of that mutual, respectful communication and openness. Now, another way that underestimators can affect you is when you're already collaborating on a project. This is whenever they're on your team of sorts. And if you don't have the authority to dismiss someone from that team, then you're forced to have to work with them. Now, this gets irritating because I've been in situations where someone on the team was basically pretty much trying to make sure that they wrested control of everything, was more like a power trip for them. And that can be really freaking irritating. In those situations, you don't have to do so disrespectfully, but you do have to put your foot down. And it's not a matter of having an attitude. It's just an approach of confidence. So when I was in that situation, I knew, for example, that I had the experience in a particular portion of the project. The person who was on the power trip wanted to direct and control everything. Well, I basically stepped up and said, look, I'm going to go ahead and handle the social media aspect and the communication aspect, and I'm not going to reply to all messages, but like what I'll do is I'll go ahead and present them to you guys, and we can talk about it. And then when it comes to like flyers and whatnot, we can have someone make them, and then I'll just upload them, and I'll set a schedule for, the social media promotions and whatnot. And I said it, and whenever this person was like, oh, well, wait, no, let's just do blah, blah, blah. I said, no, that's good. I got it. I know, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do it my way. I didn't say it with an attitude. I just said, look, I'm taking on this role. I'm going to go ahead and go for it. Now, in the event that a power play comes up, you really got to just be careful about how you handle it, because on the one hand, you could end up alienating yourself from the team, or the other person could end up alienating themselves. So one of the strategies that I used in this situation was to just take what Michelle Obama would call the high ground. I don't believe in allowing anybody to abuse me. That would never occur. No, hell no. But what I did was I let this person say the negative things that they wanted to say, but my results spoke louder because what I was doing was effective. We had a high rate of social media engagement. We had a high rate of attention and conversation going on. And so whenever, those comments came back that I was being criticized, I could simply point to the evidence. Well, if that's how you guys feel, these comments and this conversation and this attendance at our events seems to reflect otherwise. So that's what I mean. You go ahead and just focus on your results. Focus on you. If you have to deal with an underestimator in your midst on a team where you don't have the authority to get rid of them, go ahead and just continue to show your results. Do what you know that you're good at. But at the same time, always be willing to hear your advisors out. Be willing to accept advice. Even if you feel like the person is not as experienced as you, if they're coming from a good place, just go ahead and hear them out. You might still learn something from them. You never know. This has been Word of a Rebel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at Word of a Rebel. And watch out for those underestimators and give your advisors a big, warm hug. Peace.